What is the due date of filing the return? Yes. September. And if he is subject to transfer pricing, 30th November. Is it? Yeah. No, not 1 month, no? 2 months. So, in case of company SSC, now see why company SSC here act is not saying whether subject to tax audit or not. Company is under Companies Act by default under the audit only. So it requires more time or not? Yes. Need not write it, first we'll understand. So company SSC is under obligation to what? File the return on or before 30th of September. Of what? Previous year or assessment year? Assessment year. Then next, any person whose accounts are required to be audited. Under which law? Under any law. Fine. Means it may be a cooperative society. Under Cooperative Society Act, they require to get the accounts audited. They will also get the time limit of what? 30th September. 30th September is an extended time limit as compared to the residual category. Fine. Now, third category before we discuss, can you tell me in partnership firm who is entitled for salary? Only working partner. Is it correct? Fine. Section 40 clause B, anyone remember? What is it? Salary allowable in hands of partners paid by the firm. Is it correct? This is based on what? This is based on book profit. Is it correct? This is calculated based on book profit or not? Yes. Now, my question is, unless the firm books of accounts are final, can you know the salary of partner? No. Now, whatever is allowed in hands of firm, what you should do? Whatever salary is allowed in hands of firm, what you should do? That is taxable in hands of partners. Under which head? Under which head? PGBP. Is it correct or not? There is no employer-employee relationship. So, salary received by a partner from the firm, working partner. Only working partner is entitled for salary. Interest can be on funds by any partner, but salary will be only by working partner. Fine. So, whatever is allowed in hands of firm, that much is taxable in hands of partner or not? Yes? Fine. Unless books are finalized, partner's taxable salary he will not able to determine or not. Can he file the return? No. Suppose firm's accounts are audited, means firm has gone in this second category. If firm's accounts are audited, firm is gone in second category, means firm will finalize their books till what? 30th September. What about the partner? So here, what is the third? Working partner of firm whose accounts are audited. Fine. Now my question is, suppose the firm is paying the salary irrespective of the profit, fixed salary. Partner will be entitled for a profit or salary of 35,000 per month. Then is it still he will get the benefit of this extended time limit or not? Partner is getting fixed salary. His firm is getting the accounts audited. Partner will get the benefit or not? Yes. Partner will get the benefit and the due date will be what? 30th September. Are you getting it? Done. For others, that is residual category, 31st of July. Fine. Now, and if you are subject to transfer pricing, then what is the due date is kept? 30th of November. Are you getting it? Now you can write down, then we'll go ahead. My accounts are voluntarily audited. Fine. Voluntary means what? Right now you are sitting voluntarily. Is it compulsory? No. Voluntary means you are not subject to tax audit. Fine. Still you want to get your accounts audited for internal control or whatever may be the case. Is it my time limit will get extended? No. If there is a voluntary audit which is not required under any law, time being in force, then time limit will remain 31st of July. Are you getting my point? Fine. Then. Anyone remember section 10A and 10B? What is it? For export. Is it correct or not? 100%, 50%, 50% in 5 years. Here, this is not covered under chapter 6A. Is it correct or not? We want to monitor that you are claiming 100%, 50%, but are you fulfilling the condition whether the deduction claimed by you is correct or not? So, Act made the amendment saying that if you want to claim section 10A and 10B deduction, then ROI is compulsory. ROI is compulsory. If you want to claim the deduction of 10A and 10B, 10AA is not covered here. Fine. 10A and 10B is covered. Fine. Now, 271F penalty, it is for what? This penalty is for non-filing of ROI. Is it correct? How much we have said? 5,000. Fine. Now, no penalty. When there will be no penalty, just understand. Don't be busy in writing. I will give you time if required. In which two cases there will be no penalty even if you have filed the return late? First, ROI is late, fine, but within relevant assessment year. Late, okay. What will happen? 234A interest will attract. Agree, let it be. But if you are filing before 31st March of the relevant assessment year, we will not impose the penalty. Are you getting it? And second, if the self assessment tax is nil. Yes, means what? If suppose this will not be correct here, to be more specific, if taxable income is nil, my income is below basic exemption limit, I want to voluntarily file the return, can I file? Most of the people, they do at small earner for bank loan purpose and other things. Can I file after 31st March? Yes. If there is no tax, self-assessment tax, the penalty will not come. Otherwise, nowadays, what happens? If you are filing the late return after 31st March, system by default add 5,000 penalty. Are you getting it? Yes. So, no penalty in two cases if ROI is filed within assessment year, relevant assessment year. And if there is tax liability is what? Nil. Fine. And in other cases, there is a penalty of what? 5,000. The penalty of 5,000 rupees. For what? Filing after what? No, I will say 31st March of relevant assessment. That is more appropriate. Is it correct? Fine. Now you can write if you want. Done with? Yes. Now, if you will see various amendments, the government is behind the foreign funds, the black money which is transferred outside India. Do you agree or not? Yes. Kala paisa jo outside India hai, we want to bring it. Yes, fine. If it is in India, we can trace out. But if it is outside India, it is a bit difficult. Yes. So what Act says, there is an important amendment by Finance Act 2015 where Proviso 4 is inserted. Let us first understand. I will dictate you properly. that time you write it. Right now I will write in very brief. Yes, this is specifically fine. Before I write it, to understand it thoroughly, if you know, remember residential status, IPCC you have done long back. Out of this three category, ROR, RNOR and NR, who is taxed for global income? Global income means whether you earn in India or outside India. ROR. ROR is taxed at for global income or not? Whether you earn in India or outside India. Based on your residential status, we will tax you. So here, Proviso 4 is for ROR, first thing. Are you reading it? The act has given bit difficult language. Any person who is a resident but not ordinary resident. When you are R, either you will be ROR or RNOR. So what I am saying here, act has said what? Any person who is resident but not ordinary resident means he is what? ROR. So this provision is applicable, this proviso is applicable to whom? ROR. Are you reading it? Now what act says? Every ROR, now just understand, I am a resident and ordinary resident. My income is below basic exemption limit. So I didn't file the return. Is there any penalty? My simple question is, my income is below basic exemption limit. I didn't file the return. Can you impose any penalty on me that you have not filed the return? Sir, I have not filed. Show me the default. You are not in default. But I am enjoying the financial interest as a beneficiary outside India in the asset. Or I am having a signing authority for the account which is outside India. Now there is a corner to doubt, na? I am having an asset, I am holding an asset as a beneficial owner. Yes? Beneficial owner means what? Somewhere that funds for purchasing that asset has gone from my pocket. So here the department wants to know from where did you brought these funds. Is it correct or not? So ROR who is beneficial owner of what? Of asset held outside India. If you are having the asset outside India, yes, beneficial owner having asset outside India or financial interests, yes, or you are having any signing authority. You are having any bank account, you are having any signing authority outside India. We want you to file the return. Are we asking you to pay the tax? No. But in prescribed form, file the return so that we can examine your case. Are you reading it? Yes. Or you are beneficiary. Beneficiary means what? Property or the asset is not in my name. It is not my, but the benefits are enjoyed by me. So this two category of ROR requires to file the return compulsorily. Your income is nil, below basic exemption limit. Chapter 6A deduction also, what we have checked the criteria, it is less than that. But still you require to file it based on this two. If you don't do, you are SSC in default. Are you reading it? So this important amendment is brought in this section by Finance Act 2015. Are you reading it? Yes. Let us write down that. I will dictate you rather than writing this. Proviso 4 to section 139(1). A person being ROR, who is not required to furnish, ROI under section 139(1) and who at any time during the previous year, during the previous year, put a dash, small a, holds asset, cut down the word asset, holds as a beneficial owner, holds as a beneficial owner, or otherwise, comma, any asset in bracket, including any financial interests, in bracket, including any financial interests in any entity bracket complete, located outside India or has signing authority or has signing authority in any account located outside India, or small b is a beneficiary of any asset in bracket, including any financial interests in any entity bracket complete, located outside India, comma, next line, shall furnish on or before the due date a return in respect of his income or loss for the PY, for the previous year, in such form and verified in such manner and setting forth such other particulars as may be prescribed. As may be prescribed. So, now Consequences of late filing of return. Just briefly, can you tell me? Do you remember any consequences? What will happen? If I file return late, what will be the consequences? One consequence you have already learned in IPCC. I think first is interest under section 234 will start. If there is a self-assess, no, B and C is for advanced tax. Is it correct? Yes. 234A, interest will attract or not? If there is self-assessment tax, then it will attract. Suppose situation arise that I have paid the interest. Don't write it simultaneously. I will give you time. If suppose interest has been, my self-assessment tax is nil, will interest will attract? No. My self-assessment tax was there. My due date is 31st July. On 31st July, I paid the tax, but return is pending. Will interest will attract? Government got their dues within time, so no interest. Are you getting it? So 234 interest is only for what? Delay in self-assessment tax after the due date. Is it correct? Fine. Losses cannot be carry forward. Can I carry forward the loss? Section 80, which will be checking it immediately after this section in loss return. Can I carry forward my losses? Certain losses it is permitted, but all losses can I carry forward? No. If return is not filed within due date, the losses cannot be carry forward. Is it correct? Fine. Deduction under section 80IA, IB, IC, ID, IE. Can I claim? Once the due date is crossed, you have lost this deduction permanently. Are you getting it? Deduction of 10A, 10B. Can you claim it? And the core most biggest risk is risk of best judgment assessment. Risk of what? Best judgment assessment. The moment this date has crossed, what will happen? The moment the due date is gone, AO can issue you the notice why I should not do best judgment for your non-filing of return even though you were required to file the return. Do you agree or not? And one more, which right now you may not be aware, but that time it will strike you. Deemed concealment of income in case of raid. If department has done the raid and when raid was done, due date was already gone and you have not filed the return, then that year return income is treated as what? Income escaped the assessment, concealment of income. So you are open to the risk of that also or not? Yes. So here first thing, interest will be charged under 234A. Losses cannot be carry forward. I can't claim the major deduction of 80IA, IB, IC, 10A, 10B, and one more is there. Anyone remember? RR. What is RR? Revise return. Can you revise the return? Return cannot be revised. Are you getting it? Yes. So consequences of late filing may be this. Now you can write it. Done with? Now, can assessing officer can ask to file the return? I don't require to file the return. Yes, my income is below basic exemption limit, but can still AO ask to file the return? Can he ask or not? Yes or no? Definitely he can ask. Yes. Under section 142(1) subclause 1, he will ask. Subclause 2 is nothing but when case is selected for scrutiny, the notice is issued to you for the documents and other things required. Fine. Now, can AO can ask to file the return? Yes. Now my question is, suppose my due date is 30th September. Fine. Can he ask me to file before 30th September or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? No. He can ask you to file the return, that is correct, but only after due date under section 142(1) subclause, under 139(1) is gone. This relevance will be checking out of this notice in next section. So we are discussing right now this 142 of the track. He can ask you to file the return. You are bound to file the return. Are you getting my point? Yes. But he can do it only after what? After due date. Yes. You can write this. We'll take 10 minutes break. Yes. After 10 minutes, we'll start with a new section. Yes. Shall we start? Yes. When someone forgets you to wish your birthday and next day wish, what they say? Belated. So, belated. Now, this belated can be how much late? You can say your friend belated 1 day, 2 day, 1 week. Yes? Or after 6 months you will say belated. So, belated return should be also, there should be some time limit or not? Yes? Fine. Now, can you tell me what is the difference between belated return and revised return? Are both same? What is the difference? If suppose I have already wished you on your birthday, happy birthday. Next day I will not say you again belated birthday. You will say yesterday already I have wished you or not. Yes. So belated return is where you have not yet filed the return. Is it correct or not? Return is yet to be filed. And what is revised return? You have filed it, but you found some mistake or error. So you want to revise it. Is it correct? Right now we are discussing 139(4) related with belated. Revise we will discuss later on. But some connection is there of this provision also. Fine. Belated return can be filed within what? Yes. Within 1 year from end of relevant assessment year. Within 1 year from end of the relevant assessment year. Don't write it. Otherwise I will stop writing. within 1 year from end of the relevant assessment year. If my assessment year is 14-15, what is the maximum time I can file it? 31st March 2016. Is it correct? Fine. In one financial year, maximum how many returns can I file? 2 or 3? I'm asking you. In one financial year, maximum how many returns can I file? Maximum 2 returns. One will be by default late only, and another, if it is within due date you have filed, that will be in time. But 2 returns cannot be within time. Do you agree or not? Both can be belated, but both cannot be in time. Do you agree or not? Yes. So first is within 1 year from end of the relevant assessment year. Fine. Now my question is, suppose I have not filed the return. Fine. Can assessment can be done? Or before completion of assessment, whichever is earlier. Before that you have to file it. Earlier of the below. Earlier of the below what? That is 1 year from end of the relevant assessment year. And what is the second time limit? Before completion of assessment. Which assessment is possible here? Which assessment? Only 144 is possible. Why 143 is not possible? We have already discussed this point now. I told you relevance is there. 143.3 is possible only if return is filed. If return is not filed, 143.3 is not possible. Are you getting my point? So which assessment we are talking about? Only 144. Income as your best judgment. Are you getting it? Whichever is earlier. Now my question is, suppose AO issued the notice under 144 on 10th December 2016. We'll take our assessment year 16-17. He issued the notice on 10th of December 2016. Our due date is, let us say, 30th September. Fine. What notice he has issued? He has issued me the notice, show cause notice, why I should not do best judgment assessment. Why I should not do best judgment assessment? You have not filed the return, even though you are required to file the return. Why I should not do best judgment? Is it is asking you to file the return? Is it is asking you to file the return? No. What is saying? Why I should not do best judgment? Now, just understand. He issued the notice on 12th December 16. Issued. Department has dispatched. You have received it on 15th of December. Fine. And in this notice he has given, kindly be present on 25th of December, not 25th, it is holiday, 26th December 2016. Be in my office on this date. For what purpose? To give me the reason why didn't you file the return. Why I should not go for best judgment. Now, here in this case, you are going to be in office on 26th of December 16. Meanwhile, somewhere here you filed the return. What you have done? You received the notice, you became wise. Before you present, what you have done? You filed the return. And now you will argue what? Sir, I have filed the return. Is it this notice was for filing the return? By filing, does it mean that what mistake you have done got corrected? No. So here in this case, you file the return. Now my question is, we will take extreme case. Before you receive it, here you filed the return. Fine. You are not aware of the notice was served, and here only you have filed it. Now, can you argue with the department? Sir, before I received the notice, I have filed the return. No. This is the point. Once it is issued, after that, you can't file the return. Are you getting my point? In between dispatch and your received, you have filed the return. It will not justify it. Are you getting my point? Then what will happen? Let us understand. On this date, 26th of December, you have been presented in front of AO and you gave the reason of default. That, sir, due to my health issue or due to some family disputes or due to death in the family, some genuine reason which is acceptable for that default, I was not able to file the return. So kindly don't do the best judgment. Reason is accepted. What will happen? Whatever you have filed the return, that is accepted. And if further under regular assessment norms your case is selected for scrutiny, your case will be selected, otherwise nothing. He will drop 144. Are you getting it? If he is satisfied with your reason of what? Default. But if he is not satisfied, he is not satisfied, what will happen? He says what you are saying is foolish. Your daughter's marriage was there, fine, agree. You would have spared the time and you would have filed the return. You have gone to foreign tour, fine, before going to foreign tour you would have filed it. Yes, he is not ready to accept your explanation. Now what will happen? If you have filed the return still, then this return will become the base for best judgment assessment. Still he will continue. He will not drop best judgment assessment, but that return will become what? It will become the base. And if you have not filed, it is out of question. Still he will do what? Best judgment without your return. Are you getting my point? Yes. So here in this case, assessment means only which one? 144. Are you getting it? 143 is not possible. Fine. Now my question is, in belated return, can I revise the return? No, I can't revise. That we'll check it out later. If you want, you can just complete this, then we'll move ahead with the other discussion. Let us understand. If assessment under 144 is dropped, then can the return can be valid? This case, reason is valid. ROI will be considered as valid if AO has dropped what? AO has dropped 144. Write down the case law. Ram Bilas Kedarnath. Allahabad High Court. If best judgment assessment is dropped, if best judgment assessment is dropped, then belated return filed is considered valid. Belated return filed is considered valid.